So what we wanted to talk to you all about today was a policy initiative, which some of which might be familiar to some of you, but it's something that is being built towards COP26 as a partnership led by the UK government as COP presidents, with the support of the IEA, and in the name of the Super Efficient Appliance Deployment Initiative, SEAD, that many of you may be aware of from the past. So just a few words on SEAD itself. So it's a voluntary collaboration which is intended to share policy, in particular on efficient appliances, and to, of course, lead to the aggregation of markets for appliances to make sure that efficient appliances are available to everywhere around the world. It was established more than 10 years ago by the US under the Clean Energy Ministerial, and quite recently the IEA took over the coordination of the initiative. It's currently co-led by the UK, the European Commission and India, and Sweden have just joined the leadership team. So the idea is to be a portal for sharing knowledge, to exchange policy experience through webinars and guidance notes and that sort of thing. And it's also being strengthened in terms of a framework for coordination and collaboration, which I'll come to in a moment. And in sharing sort of information about how to run effective appliance and equipment standards and labelling programs, of course, the idea is that it simplifies markets for everybody. So whilst it's a government-to-government initiative, there are partnerships with industry, with NGOs, and with technical advisors in the appliance standards and labelling fields. So, like I said, it's 21 countries, good global coverage and good coverage of different types of economy. And the main partners are CLASP, the IEA 4E initiative, and United for Efficiency. So SEAD is being revitalized at the moment, and the impetus for that came from the UK government deciding that they wanted a product efficiency element to COP26. And over many months, this is materialized as a call to action, which is looking to encourage the doubling of the efficiency of a group of key energy using products by 2030. So the products here are industrial motor systems, which is why we're here today, air conditioners, refrigerators and lighting. And the doubling of the efficiency of these products over by 2030 has huge ramifications for electricity consumption, carbon emissions, and of course the multiple benefits of improving air quality, health, and economy and jobs. So, like I said, this was a COP26 action, and collectively with the IEA, we've been developing this concept over the last year or so. I think I've said most of this, so I will move on to the next one. So, in terms of what the COP activity, the call to action, what the UK have done is been sharing a joint statement, which they've been asking governments to sign to say that they support the call to action, to support the doubling of the efficiency of these products. There are 10 countries currently who are signatories to the call to action, and our hope is to get several more before the COP, and to basically make this one of the biggest energy efficiency campaigns that has existed. To make this real and to make it actionable to governments, we started working on this concept of an energy performance ladder. And of course, everybody in the motors world will know that we've clearly borrowed this from motors, but it doesn't exist for other appliances. So I'm just going to show you the motors example, but we're developing these performance ladders for all of the other products as well. So of course, the idea of the ladder is to link our minimum energy performance standards with our labels, with our high performance standards, so that there's a clear trajectory, there's a clear series of steps that countries can take to improve efficiency. Obviously this allows the simplification of markets. It allows countries to benchmark. It allows governments to know where they can quite easily go next because somebody's already done it. It's already possible. And of course, the aim of all of this is to aggregate markets to reduce costs to manufacturers and therefore make efficient products more accessible. What we're trying to do here is show how the ladder can be used across all of these sorts of policies. So, of course, at the lower steps of the ladder, we've got our MEPS. In many places in the world, we then have comparative labels, which can also align with steps on the ladder. And then at the top end, we've got very high performance that we'd like to incentivize and would encourage governments to make sure when they're spending public money or encouraging financing through various schemes, that it's the top end of this ladder that's supported through that process. But like I say, the point is the clear trajectory, knowing that you can do it because it's already been done by somebody, and that's the philosophy behind the range of policies. So it gives you a predefined set of steps, and each country, of course, will start this at a different stage, and will be able to work out how quickly they would like to move up this ladder. And what we want to do post COP is, with the countries that have signed up, is actually help articulate these ladders so that they're clear, they're published. Everybody knows where certain countries want to go, when they're going to take the steps, what the steps are going to be. So this is where we start using motors as the example. So it's clear where all of this has come from, of course, but we need for all of the products clearly to agree testing procedures so that we know that we're measuring efficiency in the same way everywhere. Then, of course, defining the thresholds, in country by country, mapping existing requirements by collecting data on the stock, and then, of course, setting the targets. So this is just an example of where Kenya's system for appliance policy, whether appliance package, sits against the IEC thresholds. So, the steps of our ladder. The advantage, of course, with motors is the ladder already exists. It's enshrined within international standards. So it has been used in this way for some period. So what I'm telling you here or explaining here is, of course, hardly revolutionary to you as a motors community. But as I said, we're using motors as the example, and we're describing other products in a similar way. This just clearly shows that it's actually happening with motors, that say a country that's quite new to regulating appliances, such as Kenya, starts with perhaps an easily attainable minimum managed performance standard. India's been doing this for longer and has a manufacturing base. They've both used the ladder for MEPS and for their label, and China have done likewise, but of course here, as we can see, they have a more ambitious MEPS level. But just an example of how this same ladder, it can be used by governments around the world. Again, this is a slide that you've all seen before, but it's just showing how it's really being used, how we have now a small number of countries with IE1 as their MEPS level, but we can see plans for where they're going to go in the future. And these are the types of plans that we want to lay out with signatories over until 2030. So not a decade anymore. We've got 8 years to go. So where are we going to go next with this process? The idea is that we work with countries to develop plans on how quickly they will climb the ladder between now and 2030. In terms of motors, of course, we need to promote additional policy measures, so to drive motor system efficiency, such as use of ESDs, management systems to prevent waste, those sorts of things. In many of the developing and emerging economies, this progress isn't happening particularly quickly, and so the idea is that tailored funding mechanisms for motor replacements will need to be developed to try and accelerate these changes. They could be based on technology lists. For example, if you think about what EBRD does in terms of its green technology selector, there's a list there that helps you identify efficient products, and that's how the specifications are chosen for things that attract financial incentives. And then, of course, you know, there are also business models that people are considering. And for example, you could have specialist ESCOs doing motor projects, and you know that's becoming more and more of a viable plan, particularly because of the digital technologies that we have available now for monitoring and verification. So they're the sorts of things that we you know, we'll want to share with the government community and work out exactly how we can flesh out these ideas based on what's already happening, but have a role in sharing them more widely. So, you know, as many of you will have heard me say before, Motors is the poster child for this type of policy package approach, and sets a fantastic example for other product types. And actually, that was all I wanted to say. This is just showing us which you know, who's involved in the initiative as it stands. We are always open to new government members, new partners in terms of people who have technical knowledge who can help this sort of process. So happy there to you know, take inquiries of people who'd like to join in some way, and also answer any questions.